Former Browns coach Bruce Arians defends Shedeur Sanders amid Rex Ryan's fiery criticism. Inside Cleveland's QB circus. The Cleveland Browns have not lacked drama in 2025. A franchise already haunted by quarterback instability, plagued with roster shifts, and constantly under the microscope of national media, found itself in yet another headline-grabbing storm this week. At the center of it stood Shedeur Sanders, the charismatic rookie quarterback, son of Deion coach Prime Sanders, who has already become one of the NFL's most polarizing figures without even starting a single regular season game. But this wasn't about a touchdown throw, a preseason highlight, or even a practice report. Instead, it was about silence. Yes, silence. In a bizarre twist that felt more like a performance art piece than a football press conference, Sanders stood before reporters, mouthed his answers without sound, and walked away. It was an act of rebellion or perhaps desperation that immediately set sports talk shows on fire. Was it genius? Immature? A calculated move to dodge the media? Or the latest evidence that the Browns have no control over their quarterback room? The spectacle left fans and analysts divided, but it also opened the door for one of football's most respected voices, Bruce Arians, former Cleveland offensive coordinator and Super Bowl winning coach, to weigh in, and his verdict was cutting not just toward Sanders but toward the entire Browns organization. The glitch in the matrix, Shedeur's silent show. Reporters had gathered at the Browns practice facility expecting a fiery soundbite. After all, just days earlier, Sanders had confidently declared, "If you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that." Those words, bold and brash, carried the swagger that made him a college sensation at Colorado. But in the NFL, they drew the attention and the fury of none other than Rex Ryan, ESPN's resident firebrand and former head coach. So when Sanders finally faced the cameras, everyone leaned in, eager for his rebuttal. Instead, they got silence. He mimed his way through questions, offering a soundless performance that left the room in stunned laughter, confusion, and awkwardness. It was bizarre, it was viral, and it was, in many ways, vintage Shedeur Sanders. Rex Ryan's blast. Quit being an embarrassment. If Sanders thought silence would cool the flames, he was wrong. Rex Ryan doubled down on his criticism, calling Sanders' bravado misplaced and his preparation lacking. On ESPN's Get Up, Ryan's words hit like a thunderbolt. "This kid talks and he runs his mouth. Get your ass in the front row and study. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You've got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now." For Ryan, the issue wasn't just about Sanders' comments. It was about perception versus reality. Here was a rookie who lit up the college stage, 134 touchdowns, an NCAA record 46 straight games with a TD pass. Yet in the NFL, he was sitting as a third stringer behind veteran Joe Flacco and rookie Dillon Gabriel. In Ryan's eyes, Sanders hadn't earned the right to talk. He hadn't proven it on the field, and silence or not wasn't going to change that. Bruce Arians enters the chat. Protect him from himself. Enter Bruce Arians, a man who has seen it all, from coaching Peyton Manning as a rookie to winning a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. On Up and Adams, Arians didn't mince words. Why is the third quarterback getting interviewed? He had nothing to do with the game. It was a question that cut through the noise. For Arians, the problem wasn't Sanders' silence or even his cockiness. It was the Browns' decision to put him in that situation at all. It's all for clicks. He's a heck of a personality, but the personality can't come out until you do something on the field. Whoever's running their media relations should turn that down. In Arians' view, Sanders wasn't being protected. He was being thrown to the wolves. And worse, the franchise was feeding the circus by giving the media what it wanted. A spectacle, a headline, a moment of controversy. A big week for Dillon Gabriel, a tough lesson for Sanders. Lost in the noise was the actual football storyline. The Browns had just announced Dillon Gabriel as their Week 5 starter against the Minnesota Vikings. It was a massive transition for the team, effectively benching Joe Flacco and bypassing Sanders altogether. This was supposed to be Gabriel's week. his chance to show he could command an NFL huddle, keep the offense moving, and earn the locker room's trust. Instead, the spotlight swung back to Sanders, who wasn't even playing. Arians was furious at the mismanagement. It's a big week for Dillon Gabriel and a big week for the Browns. Making that transition, even being available to the press, I don't know why he's doing it. Translation: focus on football, not theatrics. The preseason reminder: promise and pain. Part of the reason Sanders attracts so much attention is that he's already shown flashes of brilliance. In the preseason, he threw 2 touchdowns against the Panthers, a performance that had fans buzzing about his potential. But then came the crash. Against the Rams, Sanders was sacked 5 times, a brutal reminder of how unforgiving the NFL can be. The league devours potential. It humbles hype, and it exposes weaknesses that even college superstars can't hide from. This is the paradox of Shedeur Sanders. On one hand, he is the charismatic, confident leader who rewrote college record books. On the other, he is a rookie learning the hard way that the NFL doesn't care about past glory. Kevin Stefanski's cold reality. Head coach Kevin Stefanski was asked about Sanders' role and whether he might leapfrog Joe Flacco as the backup. His answer? Short, blunt, and entirely unsentimental. Flacco is the backup. My focus is on this game. It was classic Stefanski, controlled, disciplined, and uninterested in media narratives. Translation: Shedeur is not in the conversation right now. He's third string. End of story. But for Sanders, hearing his coach publicly draw that line must have stung. The bigger picture: media clickbait and young QBs. The Sanders controversy highlights a larger issue in today's NFL: the relationship between young quarterbacks, media narratives, and fan expectations. Every rookie is scrutinized. Every statement becomes a headline. Every mistake is magnified. For someone like Sanders, already famous before his first NFL snap thanks to his father and his college stardom, the pressure is multiplied tenfold. Arians' analogy summed it up best. You don't throw a guy learning Mandarin into a press conference to discuss geopolitics. You let him study the playbook. In other words, let Sanders grow quietly. Don't make him the story before he's ready. Arians' final advice: be ready. For all his criticism of the Browns, Arians didn't dismiss Sanders' future. In fact, his closing words were as much encouragement as warning. Just keep growing. Go to practice every day, work hard. And when your time comes, be ready. Make sure that you're preparing to be the starter every single week. That's the blueprint. Arians knows the NFL will give Sanders chances. Injuries happen, depth charts shuffle, and opportunities come when least expected. The question is, will Sanders be ready when that moment arrives? Conclusion: the making or breaking of Shedeur Sanders. This week's drama was about more than silence at a podium. It was about identity, maturity, and the unforgiving spotlight of the NFL. Shedeur Sanders is a quarterback with rare talent, college records that speak for themselves, and a personality made for headlines. But the NFL doesn't crown kings based on charisma. It demands sweat, resilience, and performance on Sundays. Rex Ryan's harsh words and Bruce Arians' protective advice represent the two realities Sanders faces: the skepticism of those who doubt him and the wisdom of those who want to see him succeed. For now, he remains Cleveland's third-string quarterback, but the story is far from over. Whether his next chapter is written in triumph or tragedy depends not on what he says or doesn't say to reporters, but on what he does when the football is finally in his hands. And in Cleveland, where quarterback stories never seem to end, this one has only just begun.